Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Haft here on Undisclosed Location. This is another episode of the fraud conspiracy with the city. Look at all these people from the DNR here involved in this. This is a conference call, ASAP. The bottom line is, to excuse this, my filming. It says, they're interested in using the money from selling the buildings to start removing buildings that are built over the river and willing to enter into an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding, saying that the redevelopment of the Waco buildings over the river will remove concurrently. I went over and showed you how they couldn't legally be developed. Okay, so the conspiracy started. Okay, so then they came in and they told us we couldn't enter our buildings, which I'll show you in a little bit. But this is an important one. This is Rob Davis, Hendricks. It's a Beaver Dam meeting, where they're working with their conspirators. I don't have a list of questions I think may come up at the meeting, but I know that one question that was discussed is who is authority to condemn buildings? They are the only one who has to condemn the building, but they say it would only be done because we would not allow repairs or to be done, or because we would force them to have the 50% rule. This is a topic to think about. They say they don't want us to look like the bad guy, and they want to have a good grasp on things before they put too many words in our mouths. So the thing about this, the DNR does not have condemnation powers, okay? I don't know if they had it or took it away because they're a bunch of criminals or whatever, but they do not have it. The city has the condemnation. Once you threaten someone with condemnation, you have to do it, okay? I explained earlier, Beaver Dam was protected by the Stafford Act because President Obama declared Wisconsin a federal. So John Mosriner, he's the building inspector in the city. They called this meeting for us. They brought us in, 30-some people. You got to be a pretty special person to come in there and threaten and create fraud to destroy these people's lives and their businesses. Because he came in and he told us that we had to sell it for 65% of our assessed value. DNR is going to order it down. The conspirators. This is just a huge, massive, it's called a wheel conspiracy. There's so many spokes and so many individuals in. Told us we couldn't fix our buildings, okay, which was a fraudulent statement, okay? I said earlier, the thing with fraud is there's a skinny guy here and you tell him he's fat. Well, that's a false statement, but he is not going to have any losses. But when you tell all these people that you can't fix your building and you're offering blackmail to the citizens of the community, yeah, those are serious. Those are all civil rights violence plus the fraud and everything else involved. So, after I was under threat for so many years, I was fighting for my life against all these government criminals that I'm helping paying their wages. It's like I thought, never in my mind could I thought that they could all be this corrupt. Oh, look at this. Ordinary maintenance and repairs. Shoreline zoning. While the term ordinary maintenance repair is not defined in Chapter 115, it's NR, it's a DNR, ordinary maintenance repairs are not considered structural repairs. Modifications or additions such ordinary maintenance include internal painting components, windows, and stuff like that. But the most important thing, it says on the bottom here, other actions that are commonly considered ordinary maintenance repairs include, and the most important one is on the bottom, alterations, repair and maintenance done under emergency conditions to preserve or protect life or property. That's considered an ordinary repair. We could have fixed our buildings. I closed my building, sold some of the stuff out of there because I thought I couldn't reopen, and the DNR is going to order me down. So I just thought our government, they tell you in high school, a government by the people, for the people, and it couldn't be any farther in this town. Okay, so this is one of the things here. This is another one, Heather Gottschalk, some of all the other cronies, Susan Joseph, the dam lady, Rob Davis, of course. And it says on here, many of the business owners are asking, does it pay to fix my building? You're going to have to come down the road. They didn't have to, okay? That's all fraud. There are already several buildings that have shifted, other than the big one. One order stated he's walking away, cleaning out what he had, can't walk away. They have stated they will not allow anyone to re-inhabit the buildings until a structural engineer can get under the buildings. So how do these people live in these apartments and stuff get their clothes and stuff? their personal belongings, their bills, and everything. They didn't care. I had to have a structural engineer come in and do it. It cost me quite a bit of money, but this is just another. The DNR knew they were doing this, and it was just they conspired with the building inspector and the city officials to ruin more of the people's lives. Okay, so this is another interesting one. I got 300 pages of emails from the DNR. I requested it. They sent me everything, and they were really pissed when they found out what someone sent me. This is Rob Davis again. He's everywhere. Inspector, Beaver Dam. That's John Mosrainer. Rob Davis down here. It says, and then they have phone numbers for Gary Hendricks and Miriam. And it says, currently, things like work on the piles and stabilizing would be considered against the 50% rule. The work is subject to a bit of interpretation, but I'm sorry that I cannot give you a list of what counts and what doesn't count. But to my knowledge, it doesn't exist. They don't even know what they're doing. They're threatening people with this stuff. But maybe they didn't want them to see that they could have made emergency repairs in your building. And if you got some problems with piles on a building and you got a dam that's non-functional and non-operational, it's like, it's just like, where are we living? Yeah. Okay. And it says on here, it says, I took that out the pod right now. I'm sorry, folks. Okay. So now we're going to come back a little ways, and this is what came out in the media. It came out in the Beaver Dam paper, radio, and then on these Madison channels. City of Beaver Dam wants to rebuild after massive flooding. Business owners say the plan is costing their livelihood. City owners are targeting several downtown businesses. They want to condemn the damaged properties they're in and offer business owners 65% of their assessed value. Michael Firstall doesn't feel he has a choice. It's either take the 65% or nothing. I don't know if he was actually working for the city at the time, but yeah. And then this is a different one. It says different TV network, WTMJ. It says on here. The city of Beaver Dam is buying flooded business. Some owners want to stay, but they don't seem to have a choice. Business owners are against the plan. They have to make matters work. They said the mayor had the courtesy to tell them in person, said he found out on the radio. And it says, it was an absolute shock, Ronzani said. She learned the city is to condemn her building. Oh my God, this and that. And I don't know. You can read it. I'll put it here. You might have to jump in. But the bottom line with it is okay, there's a legal process to buy people's building. Okay, it's called eminent domain. And there's a process. It's called condemnation. But once you threaten people with it, you have to do it. But see, any other state or anything, but there's no laws. It's just a lawless area in the DNR. And it says, I'll put this on if you want to read it. Julia Ronzani woke up in City Hall and she was in absolute shock. And then it says, we weren't going to run it past the property owners before we run it past the CDC, Community Development Corporation. They're a non-elected, form of a bunch of cronies in town. I think 80% of them will say they're in agreement with the plan. Cut us a check. It's either that or you'll be facing by us or the DNR condemnation. Now, like I said, once again, they threatened with condemnation publicly in the paper, okay? There were no times that they came back. And there's a legal process for that. And then it says, let's see, 65% my assessed value is not sufficient for my business, and that will have to be addressed. And then they are going to have to come up with more money, Ball said. Yeah, and then it says over here, it says, a lot of people had stuck money in their building after the last flood, and it says, and this guy here, Miller, he says, you can't stop progress, Miller said, and you can't stop the DNR. That's how stupid people are. And it says, the lone holdout, Jay Hafe, Fountain Inn, is money and he wishes to keep his building and remain in business. And then Trent Campbell, they talked about the demolition and stuff like that. And he wondered why the city was offering 100% of the assessed value when it just bought a property next to the city of Waste for 88% of the assessed value. I don't know if they threatened them or not. I wouldn't doubt it. He also questioned the DNR's unwillingness to help affected property owners after telling them they had to remove their buildings from the floodway. It's incredible. Why are they, the persons who issue the condemnation orders but don't want to participate in city assistance? They're convicting themselves right there, folks. They're just, criminals, idiots. And it says on here, this talks about me when I reopened my business. So, and this hurt me too, because who would want to run a darts team, a pool team, a birthday party if he's under constant threat by these punks, dinks, and criminals? The bar is in the floodway of the Beaver Dam River, and the DNR is said to be ordered down at some time in the future. Yeah. Wisconsin, they're for business, open for business. Yeah. The DNR intentions. DNR stated that will require the move of 11 properties as designed in floodway. And then the public safety, there's immediate concern that one of the structures could collapse in the river. Yeah. Okay. And this is interesting too, because I explained to you that once you have to do it the right way, get the relocation numbing offer and under the protections of the Stafford Act, being declared a federal disaster area by Obama. There's laws that you have to go by, okay? And it says, City of Beaver Dam met with the building owner who owns the property in Beaver River. They presented them an offer to buy the structures and remove them. Fairchild did. They also included removal of the tower parking lot and had some money. The building's a floodway to floodproof. I don't know if they ever did that. It's, I don't trust anything that they do after this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It sounds like everyone's on board with exception of Jay Hafe, the DNR bar. He may try to register his bar on a historical structure. The owners of the other 10 structures are going to meet with him next Monday to try to convince him to take the deal. So 10 of the structures are on board next to get past the common council. Okay. So they did do that. They got the other property owners against me. Okay. And they're all friends and business and family. Nobody came in. I lost a lot of business. And what they did here by conspiring with these property owners, even though they didn't actually know they were probably breaking the law, but conspire with these property owners to try to make me sell my building for my assessed value, no relocation. I knew and studied the law. I just had no idea everything was criminal. I did not know. And what they did was they were conspiring to extort my building, whatever you want to call it. And then this is interesting. It says, I can show you a little later too if somebody wants to see it. The $2.5 million proposal in the TIF funding, they got the money. The 2.5, that was for the property purchase and not the relocation, but the demolition of the property purchase. And they bought $50 million at that point, with $14 million it looked like in free developer incentives. And even though that hardly got done, it's just, where's the money? Okay. Estimated cost, 2.75 for that. City of Beaver Dam. And then what this project also includes the restoration of a large industrial building into condominiums. And I know they got pissed at me because I don't trust a thing WIDA does. Not absolutely nothing. And if I become governor, I'm going to go in there with a fine cone tooth and investigate that. And I'd actually like to just dump that. And I feel there's a better alternative, which I'll go through later. But it says building at a condominium. I went to City Hall and said, hey, you're getting WIDA money for this project. They can't build luxury condos and sell them. But like I said, thanks, Jay, for watching. And then the project also addresses significant flooding safety situation. Beaver Dam River flows under the buildings, which is significant structural failure, which could cause collapse of the buildings into the river. Should this happen during a flood event, the entire downtown could come flooded, including a nearby foundry. If the foundry furnaces were to flood, it would result in a catastrophic explosion. During the 2008, buildings caused a backup of floodwaters. Okay, so the dam wasn't repaired. The gates weren't repaired. The operation of the dam. And they knew this building could collapse, but the last thing they want to do was let him fix it. It just blows me away. So why did these buildings have to go so bad? You'll see the levels they went past this to try to ruin me and take my building and stuff. Okay. If they didn't do any of this stuff on the dam and it collapsed, okay, the dam collapsed, flooding my building with my customers in that building, and I used to put some good-sized crowds in there, they'd be responsible for all the deaths. Yeah, that's why I had to go. But folks, I'm sorry I had, but I'll tell you what, I had no idea everything was this corrupt. It's